And we're joined now in the studio by Dennis, so thank you so much for coming in to speak to us on Good Morning Europe. Now, in that report you mentioned that we will need to produce 70% more food in 3 decades to feed the world. Do you think these nature-friendly fish farms can help to be a real alternative to these needs?
Oh, they can certainly help, yes. As you say, by 2050 there will be 9 billion people living on our planet. That's the United Nations estimations. So what will all these people eat? That's the big question. And of course, nowadays, people in more and more countries want to eat animal-based protein. And fish can be a great source of that protein, healthy and delicious. But we cannot catch more fish at sea because we are already catching as much as we can. If we will keep catching more, we'll just kill the ocean. So aquaculture can be a great supplement to wild-caught fish.
And I know in this report you travelled to the Canary Islands, you were also in the Netherlands. When we think about this, the European coastline, where is the most potential really to develop fish farming?
Nowadays there are great examples all around Europe where there are costs sea that can be used. Of course, the best places is somewhere where the fish farms can be sheltered from storms. So if you imagine Norway fjords, for example, that is a great place to raise fish because the water is very clean there and the storms cannot destroy the farms. But of course, these areas are limited. We don't have much space there. So new technologies allow now to shift fish farms further away from the coast, more into the sea, and there the space is huge. And of course, to complement that, we can build aqua farms on land inside buildings using new environmentally sustainable technologies to recirculate water, to clean it, so the fish can grow in tanks, even in countries that don't have sea access. The challenge, of course, is to use less antibiotics now and to produce less waste. This is what many people in the industry, researchers, are working on now, to improve these technologies, to make them environmentally clean, sustainable.
Fascinating, and a lot of people don't think of that when they're tucking into their evening meal. And when it comes to Europe in general, what more do you think they can do to develop this industry, reducing, of course, its dependence on imports, for example?
Yes, indeed. Europe imports 2/3 now of the seafood we consume, and aquaculture has a great potential to grow. But Europe, at the same time, it has very tough parameters for environmental protection, of water quality, and also the life quality of fish. So to satisfy these demands, aquaculture companies need to innovate. Europe is trying to reduce administrative hurdles into getting into this industry and to help this industry get better access to spots in the water and on land that could be used. And of course, Europe is funding part of the research to make aquaculture industry more sustainable and more competitive, also with wild-caught fish and imported fish from other countries. These are some of the priorities of the European Union. And aquaculture, of course, is very important for Europe because it employs people. There are tens of thousands of people directly employed by aquaculture industry across Europe, including in areas where there is not much employment otherwise.
Okay, Dennis Lutcher, thank you so much for coming into the studio this morning and for bringing us that report from the Canaries and the Netherlands.